Welcome everybody to the massive Nerdmigo's original podcast, M.N.O.P or M.N.O.P for short. This is a fortnightly podcast hosted by three geeks and nerds talking about nerd culture for your listening pleasure. Topics will range from games to comics, movies to TV, and everything in between that we geeks and nerds appreciate. My name is Doragon, I'm your host for episode number 2, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts Massively Gaming and Wibblesniff01. You can catch the podcast on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts, as well as on our YouTube channel. If you wish to support the podcast, you can via patreon.com/massive_nerd_OG_podcast, and supporters will be credited within the YouTube video of each episode they support. Don't have money to throw our way? Don't worry. You can give us great support for free. You can rate the podcast on your favorite listening platforms or subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Like the video and comment on each episode to drive engagement. All options will help us out massively. On today's agenda, we have Wibblesniff actually joining us, so we'll give you his introduction. PlayStation VR 2 will not support PlayStation VR 1 games. Do Easter eggs in shows and movies make the experience for you? There's new YouTube monetization and Twitch monetization things to discuss, and then we'll close out the episode. So without further ado, let's get in to episode number 2. So Wibblesniff, welcome. Thank you for finally joining us. Lee and I had to carry last time. It's nice of you to actually make it. Are you feeling better?
I am. Thank you very much for having me, Lee and Oregon. It's great to be here, finally. Yeah, I've put the demons back in the box, so to speak, and I'm here.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. So Lee and I are going to have some questions for you. So I'm going to hit you with the first one. Then Lee's going to come in, and then we'll keep switching until we've got to know you a little bit, similar to what happened on last episode for those who tuned in. So first off, tell us who you are. Give us a bit of your lore, your background, where your name came from, that sort of thing.
Okay, so we'll start with the easy one, where my name came from. It actually came from World of Warcraft. So a friend of mine who is named Mollywobbles, he was a dwarf priest. He introduced me to World of Warcraft. Now, for those of the Harry Potter lore, Mollywobbles is a pet name that Mr. Weasley calls his wife. He's only calls it once in the book ever. It's only mentioned once. So he was Mollywobbles, and I wanted to be something similar. So Wobbles and Wibbles, and then Molly Wobbles and Wibble Sniffs. It was going to be an S at the end, but I couldn't fit Wibble Sniffs. So it was Wibble Sniff. And literally, that is where it came from. I still have the World of Warcraft character now. I still play him to this day. He's a dwarf priest, and he's on the Asjol Narub EU server. So there you go. That's where the name comes from. The 01 at the end was purely because on Twitch, I had a Wibble Sniff account. I forgot the password, it locked, so I just added 01 on it. So there you go, that's it.
I'm disappointed you didn't do 69. Why was it not Wibble Sniff 69? Can I just ask?
Or 420.
Or 69 420.
So I am an adult.
He's got us there. He's
really got us there.
No, those kind of things, I've never done them. I've never done 420 or anything like that. I know what it means. It's not part of my culture. 69, well, that's private, isn't it? I can't really go into that. So, but no, it was just 01. So yeah, that's where Wibblesniff comes from. Everybody thinks it's different things and asks, and then when I just say it came from World of Warcraft, everyone's like, oh, okay. But yeah.
Fantastic. So, say, my good man Wibble, it's actually a pleasure to have you here today as well, big man. We missed you last week. Say I was at home, I was a bit bored. I wanted to catch some premium Wibblesniff 01 content. Where am I looking for it? Where am I going?
You are going onto YouTube. So to type in Wibblesniff 01. I'm not fancy enough to have a custom URL yet, unlike Doragon. So congratulations to that, Doragon.
And Lee as well.
What? Why have you got one?
Because I have over 100 subscribers.
I have 43, so everybody please subscribe to me.
Everyone sub to Wibblesniff.
Yeah, just Wibblesniff 01. I do go live pretty much every day. If I don't go live, I will post it out on my socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
No, it's
It
nice
is,
for those who've got Facebook, eh?
it is, you see,
Who
I've even
uses
got Facebook.
Facebook?
I mean, who doesn't have
Wibble
Facebook? Who's got locked out of Facebook because they spoke to an old friend, eh?
No one. Not me. Not I, says Wibblesmith. But no, yeah, it's Wibblesmith01 on all the socials. I do tweet on there, if anything, but it is primarily YouTube. Now it was on Twitch, however, I've moved over to YouTube. Better quality streams, I find, and the engagement is a lot better for me. So I'm on YouTube.
More on that later.
Yes. Yes.
So, with the content that you're making, with it all being on YouTube, what sort of content are we looking at? Are we looking at long form, live streams, shorts? Is it specifically gaming? Are you a bit more varied than, say, Lee and myself?
I would say it's long form live streaming at the moment. I do the odd short just to notify when people are when I'm going live, just notify people. I do want to get into it more. You two, Doragon and Lee, you've both inspired me to get into it a lot more, and you've hyped me up to doing it. So for me, it's like at the moment I'm taking an extra interest in YouTube, the short form stuff, and also the mid form. So just videos, just cutting down the YouTube streams, and then potentially doing clips off that. Say like I do primarily MMOs. If I do a dungeon run, I'd like to chop that out and then put that as a normal video and then just make highlights of that as well. That's something that I do want to do and go into. But at the moment, I am long form live streams.
How often can we see new content from you then? How often do you stream, and how often, once you get it up and running, do you want to be uploading videos and stuff?
So I stream at the moment pretty much every day as I can, between an hour and 3 hours, depending on time. Saturdays and Sundays, I will try to do both of the days for 2 to 4 hours just to get a big chunk of content out. In terms of when I want to bring content out, I would say once a week, just to start with, just to get my feet wet, and then move over to potentially twice a week, depending on how work is going, as I'm going back into work next month.
Very nice. Do you have any questions or anything you'd further like to ask our good friend here, Dorgan?
I think we'll probably learn more as we go, won't we? He's that sort of guy. He lets you in as you're discussing other things. So
Really does let you in.
he does, yeah. So rather than like spend so much time on him as we did with ourselves in the last episode, because he's not self-absorbed like us two.
No,
we'll move on to the first big topic, shall we? So VR is a big part of video gaming. It's looking to grow. There's multiple different companies trying to bring VR headsets out, VR experiences and software. PlayStation is one of the ones at the forefront of this, but in the last couple of weeks, they've given us a lot more information about their PlayStation VR 2 headset, but it's not going to be backwards compatible. Now, Wibble, you had the original PlayStation VR, yes?
I did.
So give us a bit of an insight about that PlayStation experience, because Lee, you've got the Oculus, don't you?
I have the Quest, yeah, the Quest 2, I think it is.
Yeah, so we've got VR experiences here. Now, I don't have any VR experience at home just yet, so it's going to be interesting to see all three sides. But Wibble, tell us about like the original VR experience, and then how this sort of lack of backwards compatibility makes you feel moving forward with PlayStation VR.
So I had a good year with the PlayStation VR 1. The bulk of my VR experience was Beat Saber, purely because I saw it on the PC. I saw people using like the Oculus, doing it and downloading their own songs and things like that. My experience from that was just it was great. I really enjoyed it. Now I've moved the PlayStation upstairs. I haven't got the room for VR headset. However, in terms of backwards compatibility, I don't think that's a right move. I mean, what are they going to do with Beat Saber, which was a huge game for me? Obviously, if I was going to get a PSVR 2, I would want Beat Saber. Are the developers of Beat Saber going to do a PSVR 2 version, and I have to buy it again? or what's going to happen with that. I just think that it's a completely wrong move, given the amount of tech inside that PSVR 2 helmet and how much that's going to potentially cost. And then you've got to dig out more money, especially in the recession, well, the inflation, everything that's going on now. It's very tough to justify why they aren't doing it. And I think it's a miss from PlayStation.
Yeah, it feels very tone deaf to me. I've had every PlayStation console. I've just had a game come through the door for the PlayStation Vita, for example. So I'm wholeheartedly in that sort of ecosystem. But I never had the PlayStation VR because I just couldn't afford it, didn't have the space. Similar sort of situation to yourself, Wibble, now. But I've got a load of PSVR titles that have been given away on PlayStation Plus. I've got about 10 different titles, all different experiences that I was excited for because the PSVR 2 was announced alongside the PlayStation 5, if I remember correctly, or at least very close to it. So I've been collecting those games, really looking forward to being able to play them. And then I learned that I'll fork out what we're expecting to be between sort of £200 and £400 here in the UK for a headset that I won't have any software for, that I've been collecting software for 3 years at this point. It feels like a totally tone deaf release, especially when they've brought out this PlayStation 5 with full PS4 backwards compatibility, which is something we didn't have on previous generations. I mean, if they'd set the precedent with the PS5 of like, there's no compatibility, I don't think I'd have as much of a problem with this. But the fact that we've got that precedent set, that the PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible with PS4, but the PSVR 2 that goes with the PlayStation 5 isn't compatible with the PSVR 1 games that goes with the PlayStation 4, idiotic, I feel personally.
Madness. It's absolute madness. As you say, the PS4 is compatible with the PS5, so why aren't the PS4 VR games compatible with the new VR headset? Because you can potentially run them on the PS5. You 100% can. So why not just run them through? Why not add that compatibility? It beggars belief. I mean, what do you think about it, Lee, given that your main experience is on the PC with the Oculus?
I think it's a bit weird, like personally, unless there's something very different about the PSVR 2 compared to the one, if it's a different VR technology they're using, which just doesn't make it compatible with the older games. But like you said, Wibble, one of the big VR games is Beat Saber. I have Beat Saber. Beat Saber's great. Everyone loves Beat Saber. If you've played Beat Saber and you don't enjoy it, you're wrong. But if Beat Saber's not compatible with PSVR 2, that's weird. Like, are they gonna, like you said, are they gonna make a PS5 version that you then have to pay another $20-$30 for?
Or is it going to be PS5 costs? Is it going to be like 70?
Okay, do not pay £70 for Beat Saber. Do not pay. And the thing is, well, the thing that makes Beat, I don't know how it works on the PlayStation, so I can't comment on that. But on the PC, when you play it, you can use mods to download new songs and everything. Because the original Beat Saber, the original Beat Saber library is either quite limiting, or you have to spend more money to get more songs. Yeah, whereas if you've got it on the PC, you can just get mods, and then you can make user created maps. There are some great maps just for some really just obscure and weird songs that just make the game. And I'm assuming that that's not going to be available. Was that available on PlayStation?
No.
No, it wasn't available on the 4 on the original PSVR. So whether that's something that's going to be available with the VR2, as you say, it's a different architecture, and that's why things aren't compatible. There's not enough information out there for me, and it feels like it's that whole tone deafness, but it also feels like a bit of a money-making scheme to get people to rebuy things. And I know people are saying Sony have been doing this for donkeys with the remakes of their games, but this feels different. This feels more nefarious to me, and I don't particularly like it.
It's either that or they're just lazy and they can't be bothered to make the games work with the new VR, which is just because if you've got this backlog of games that work on the normal VR, it'd be great to be able to bring out the PSVR 2 and say, yeah, we've got these games that launch with it, but you've also got your whole backlog of your original PS, like people like yourself who never had the PSVR 1 but was planning on getting the 2 and have collected the ones that have become free via PlayStation Plus.
Exactly. I mean,
it's honestly baffling. I don't get it.
It's what so many people have done waiting for the PlayStation 5. I mean, stock levels for that console are still quite low worldwide. So people have been collecting the PlayStation 5 games from PlayStation Plus to play on the PS5 when they get it. They've got that backlog of games, but when they get that console, they can play them. They're not then locked out of access to them because something isn't compatible. There's a distinct lack of information as to why this is the case, as to why we're not getting that back catalogue available on this new device. And I think for most people, it's that lack of information that is the big problem that's causing the consternation in communities. And I think it's going to drive people away from PlayStation VR. It's going to drive them towards the likes of the Oculus Quest, because you don't even need a PC for that, do you?
No, but I would recommend getting one. It's a better experience with a PC. Just because you have access to all your Steam stuff and everything, and you can, instead of downloading the games directly onto your headset, you can just either plug it in or attach it wirelessly to your PC and play it that way. But yeah, I think you're right. I think if you've got a PS5 and you've got a decent computer and you want to get into VR, you just get a PC compatible one.
It feels very PlayStation 3-esque when the PlayStation 4 came out. When they said, oh, sorry, your PS3 catalog's not compatible. Sorry, different architecture. This is what it feels like all over again. It just feels horrible because, as you guys, Lee's just said it, it would have been amazing for them to say, here's the VR2. It now runs games in better quality, say PS3, PS4 / graphics. And you've also got this back catalogue already there. And now they're basically saying, we've got a headset. There you go. That's it.
Have at it.
Yeah, with Horizon. And are they doing a God of War kind of thing? I think I've seen.
I haven't seen God of War. There's a Star Wars one that they've announced. They've said there's like 12 in the works or something. But either way, you're still going to have to buy those experiences. You're going to have to pay for them. And people like yourself, you sold your original PSVR to be able to afford the PlayStation 5 and the VR2. And, well, that's not going to do you any favors now, is it?
No, I've already said to my partner, she says, are you getting it? It looks dead good. I was like, no, because I can't play at the moment. I can't play Beat Saber. That's it. That's the whole reason of VR for me.
I think that's a big selling point for every VR headset. It's Beat Saber, and if you don't have that available, if they don't have some way to make that work, I feel like it could be a bit of a failure. So moving on, then, that's that one. So we're all sort of on the same page for the PSVR 2. Don't bother just yet. But moving on, we're moving away from gaming. This is the first time in the podcast we're moving away from a gaming-centric sort of talk to something new. And it comes down to a review that was put out into the world that was bemoaning the new Star Wars Disney Plus series. And they were slating it, saying it was a bad show because it didn't have any Easter eggs of other shows and such in there. Now, for me personally, I want to take the mic first, if you two would let me.
No.
Okay, fair play.
No, go for it, mate.
Yeah, go for it.
So for me, I find Easter eggs and cameos in shows and movies have started to seriously dilute them. One of the most disappointing movies I've watched this year personally was Thor: Love and Thunder. I went to the cinema for it. I watched it. I was very excited about the adaptation of the Jane Foster Thor from the comics. I absolutely adored that arc in the comic runs. And it felt like the whole movie was Easter egg after Easter egg, setup after setup. It was spending more time doing the fan service and setting up what's coming next than paying attention to what's happening in the moment. And it's a feeling I've had for a very long time in a lot of different shows and movies. People are going in expecting Easter eggs, expecting cameos. Like She-Hulk was sold on the fact that Daredevil is appearing in it. And that shouldn't be the selling point for a show. Like Sandman is one of the best things put out into the world this calendar year, if you ask me. I think it's an absolutely fantastic visual, audio, story, emotional, like the experience full stop, just watching that show on Netflix is phenomenal. And not once is it referencing any other medium, any other show, any other comic. Not once are there cameos for the sake of cameos. It is its own thing, telling its own story, and it's elevated to such a higher level because of that. But we seem to be in a bit of a zeitgeist where Easter eggs and cameos are so expected that if they're not there, it's disappointing viewers. And I personally, I don't understand that. I don't get that. They don't make a show. They don't improve a show or a movie or anything for me. They're nice. And I remember in the original Spider-Man launch in like 2000, that thing was fun because you had those Easter eggs to search for, referencing the old comics. But it feels like they've become a bit too meta when they're referencing themselves and what they've done in the past and such now. So handing it over, Lee, you take over first. Like, how is it for you? Like, are you feeling similar to me, or is it completely different?
I think you have a point. I think it's like most things though. I like Easter eggs. I'm a big fan of little nods and little like little bits that point to characters you like or things you like. But like you said, like I'll agree with you. Thor, like just to let you know, Thor Ragnarok's probably my favorite Marvel film ever because that film was just perfect. But Love and Thunder was garbage in my opinion. It was when the best thing about the film is two screaming goats. You know you've not made a good film. I mean, it's such a disappointment with the way they handled the whole thing. I won't go into that. Christian Bale was amazing in it, but I won't go into that. But I personally like Easter eggs. I think it's fun. I think it's good. Like you said, some mediums don't need them. Like Sam, I haven't watched that myself because the trailer just looked weird. But
it's Neil Gaiman. If you know how Neil Gaiman writes, it is weird, but it's also fantastic.
I might give it a go. But I like little Easter eggs and little nods to things. They can be fun. They can be interesting. But like you said, if you overdo it, if your entire film or TV series is just pointing and nudging other things, and you don't have any character or personality of yourself, it's pointless. You need to have like whoever, like I don't know who did the review, and if they turn around and say, is it Andor, the Star Wars thing?
Yeah, it's
if they
the
turn
Andor
around
series.
Say, Andor isn't very good because there's no Easter eggs. You have no right in writing a review.
The way they were talking about it, it was that the show wasn't good because it didn't have any references. It didn't have any Easter eggs. Bear in mind, this is a prequel series to Rogue One. So we're finding out what leads up to what is, I would say, is probably the best Star Wars movie going, which has pretty much bugger all to do with the Skywalker saga. And I adore that. So not having those Easter eggs to the other shows in the series, to the other movies in the series, kind of makes sense from a narrative standpoint, from a character standpoint, because they've not come across that. Yes, the universe is ruled by the Empire at this point, but that's common knowledge. You don't need to be pushing that in everybody's faces. But they're complaining that the wider universe isn't used in it. There's no Easter eggs for the other shows. There's no little like R2D2 plaques here and there and such. And
why do you want that? I don't get like, so the problem that Disney have at the moment is people accuse them of just flogging Star Wars to death, which they are to an extent, but surely you don't want the same stories about the same characters that link to the same things. Surely you'd like a standalone. Sure, you'd like something that goes on and does its own thing and makes its own characters separate to the wider universe, and then maybe a bit later, because there's only been like 4 or 5 episodes, then maybe like in a later series or something they can link it to something. Like it doesn't have to have Easter eggs, it doesn't have to have a link to something else. Like you can't win if they had Easter eggs, if they linked it to the Skywalker saga, it'd just be like, oh, they're just using it for clout, they're just using it to get views, and then you've got the other side of the coin where they haven't used the Easter eggs, that it's not very good. If you don't like a program just because it doesn't link to another program, if that is their one criticism, if that's the one thing that they don't like about it, what do you want? What would you like? Not a decent program of new characters with new stories, with new things? Do you just want rehashes and link backs to the same thing constantly? I don't get it. They can't win.
You say that, but then look at the biggest movie of 2021. Spider-Man No Way Home. It is just constant callbacks to previous Spider-Man.
But that's because it is a remake, basically. It's a third remake of thingy. Like Andor isn't a remake of anything. It is a beginning of something. They're completely different things. Like I loved Spider-Man. I thought the film was amazing. I know you don't like it, Dorrigan. We won't go into that now. I thought it was brilliant, and I enjoyed the way that they brought the Spider-Mans into it while still continuing Tom Holland's Spider-Man story. But that you needed the Easter eggs in that because it was a multiversal. The whole thing is set around the multiverse. That's the story. But when you have like Andor, which is the beginning of something, a prequel to something, it doesn't need it. You can make your own characters that you know they're going to grow into the characters that you see in Rogue One.
Yeah. Wibble, you've been oddly quiet on this one.
I was just listening. I mean, my short answer to the question is I don't care if they're in or not. That's the very, very short one. The less short one is, yeah, if they're in, great. If they're not, great. Do you know, that's literally me. I mean,
we might pick the wrong person for this podcast.
Yeah. The cerebral input. That's. So, guys, we're hiring for a third host of this podcast again.
I'll just get Emma back up again.
I do have things to say about it, but I say that's my very short hot take on it. I couldn't care less if they're in, and I couldn't care less if they're not in. For me, if something's good, I will enjoy it. If there's a nod in it, like She-Hulk nodded thingy a couple of weeks ago, man with metal claws has bar fight. That was that was great. It's funny. Like, yeah, that's Wolverine. But then again, that is She-Hulk, and I've got to find some pleasure somewhere. But
what's your opinion on She-Hulk? Quickly, just a quick little diver. What do you think of She-Hulk? Because it's a very controversial subject.
It is. With me watching each episode, I think it's getting better very slowly. I like the old, we call it from Smallville, the freak of the week thing. So every week she has a new bad guy or something.
More of a procedural. Yeah.
Yes, there are bits that are shoehorned, and they are pushing the agenda of she's powerful. We know she's She-Hulk. Just for me, just write it better. The writing isn't good. I have no issues with her twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. I've got no issues with
I thought
her.
that was actually fantastic. I thought that was possibly one of the most empowering visuals from the entire series so far.
I did definitely skip to that credit scene and didn't watch it.
Everyone did.
I did not watch that.
It gets you talking. For me, I was like, yeah, all right then. It reminded me, do you know what it actually reminded me of? Obviously, she's saying, Megan Thee Stallion was like not 100% convinced, and then she twerks with, and she's like, oh yeah, you're my lawyer and all that stuff. It reminded me, of Legally Blonde, where Al takes over, and also Jerry Maguire when he's shouting, show me the money. It reminds me of those things. So that's why I didn't mind it. It's like, right, okay, that shows that she's willing to do anything. I'm happy with that. It doesn't degrade She-Hulk in any way at all. The thing that degrades She-Hulk at the moment is the writing isn't brilliant for such a good character. And that's my issue with it. I couldn't care less if we've got a powerful woman, a less powerful woman, or whatever, because we've got good, powerful women. I mean, I like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I think she's a fantastic Captain Marvel. Was the film good? The film felt rushed to me. It just felt rushed. Like, we need to introduce her. And that's all it felt like for me. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was like, yeah, it happened. But going back to the Easter eggs topics, we are going completely off topic. Easter eggs. I like Easter eggs. I mean, I like whisper Easter eggs. They're nice. The crunch Easter eggs, they're also nice.
Shut up, you plonker.
A cream egg Easter egg. You cannot beat it. You've got a big chocolate egg, and then you've got 2 or 3 of the little cream eggs. Like,
yes,
it is quidded.
But no, Easter eggs in films, in things, it's good. It enhances the experience if done well. However,
I think that's the big point. Yeah, I think that's the big point that you've just said. Like, if it's done well, it can enhance the experience, because that whole guy with metal claws thing, the day we're recording this is the day after everybody's found out Hugh Jackman's back as Wolverine.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a good announcement.
Oh,
to do it that way, to have that Easter egg lead into that announcement is brilliant. I think that is such a good Easter egg that they put in there. But there's so many that feel like they're shoehorned in, especially in the MCU. As you said, Wibble, like the writing just generally in the MCU more recently has been squiffy at best. So yeah, it's one of those. If they make your day, if a movie, if a show is made lesser by not having Easter eggs, I think you probably need to reassess what brings you enjoyment.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I see something that harkens back to something that I know, like the metal claws bar fight, I chuckled and was like, yeah, he brought a smile to my face. It was done well. But then just putting like someone, this isn't official, this isn't a proper one, but say someone running through a Gotham City and then seeing the 1989 yellow bat, like the bat logo graffiti on a wall, I'd be like, oh right, okay. I wouldn't be like, oh, that was dead. Got to be like, yeah, okay. But doing it well is the key thing for me. But going back to my short answer, I'm not fussed if they're in or not. As long as the writing's good and I enjoy it, then I enjoy it regardless.
Cool.
Seems fair. Lee, any closing thoughts on Easter eggs?
Yeah, no, not really. Like I said, I feel that Easter eggs are when and as you need them. Don't overdo them; you'll ruin the film. But you can also have a program without Easter eggs because you can. You know, it's
and it still be good, yeah.
And it still be good, yeah. Because if you want to make a new IP and a new program, start from fresh. Are you trying to tell me that can't be good because it doesn't have Easter eggs in it? It's like I've been watching the Game of Thrones prequel thing,
House of Dragons.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm just not paying attention or not, but there's minimal Easter eggs in that because they mention like, oh, Stark, and there's like, oh, there was a Lannister guy in it, but he was in the story. It was part of the story. The Easter egg wasn't there because it was there. I think there was one big Easter egg that they mentioned in one of the first few episodes, but I don't want to go into it in case someone hasn't watched it because of spoilers and that. But are you trying to say that if we were trying to make another Game of Thrones thing that didn't have Easter eggs, that wouldn't be good? I just feel there's places for Easter eggs, there isn't places for Easter eggs, and it all works just as long as you don't overdo it.
So I have a question for you all, just so I can keep my job as the third presenter.
He's trying to save his employment now. Go for it.
What is, of recent memory, what's been your favorite Easter egg from anything that you've seen?
Oh Christ!
I know, it's a good question.
Are you counting Spider-Man? As in, like having Andrew Garfield and then it's got to be that.
I would call those more cameos rather than Easter eggs because it was a full role within the movie. It wasn't a case of, oh yeah, here's an Easter egg. There are obviously other Spider-Men, and this one faced off against a guy in a rhino suit. Like he was there telling that story. That wasn't an Easter egg for me.
Dora gonna have to squish your hopes and dreams early.
Well, that's fine because I can't think of it. The only ones I can think of then. Have you watched the Cornetto trilogy?
Yes.
That's just Easter eggs. The whole thing.
But that was set up to be that in an obtuse and on the nose kind of way.
And it's
again slightly different, done well.
It can still be done well and still be an Easter egg. I'm sticking with that. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
What about you?
Honestly, I think the best one, because no one was expecting it, because we've had 7 years of no Wolverine. I think the man with metal claws in a bar fight is probably the best one because it then led directly into that Deadpool announcement. And no one was expecting it to be Hugh Jackman.
No, because he said, "That's it. I'm done. I'm retired. I'm too old. I can't keep doing the workout routine," which was fair, which was completely fair. But I think for Hugh, the lore of finally getting his Wolverine into the MCU, I think that's what's potentially brought him back. Maybe
let's not sniff at a Disney paycheck, eh?
Well, yeah, let's not. I think mine was Man with Metal Claws because of it leading into this one as well. However, for cameos, it was Professor X and Multiverse of Madness because I kept away from complete spoilers and I liked it. Yeah, and he just pops
It's
up.
not really a spoiler. They put it in the damn trailer, mate. They spoiled that entire movie before its release.
Yeah,
everybody knew every cameo from the trailers.
But I still liked it, and it still popped me when I watched it the other week. Because I say I've been very slow at catch up to the MCU, and I really,
mate, I haven't
really
watched Captain America with Winter Soldier yet, so you know, like, I'm even slower catching up.
One of the best ones. That's one of the best MCU films as well.
When you've been disappointed since 2016, it takes a long time to build up the self-confidence to dive into something new.
Winter Soldier's good. Winter Soldier's all right.
Anyhow, I think we've covered enough on Easter eggs now. We're probably going to move on to what I expect to be probably the biggest discussion point for this particular podcast.
It's getting spicy, boys. It's getting spicy.
It's probably going to get spicy. So anybody watching this, if you're looking to get into content creation, this is probably a point you're going to want to pay attention to. Just to put it out there, none of us are monetized on YouTube just yet. The podcast isn't. None of our 3 channels are monetized. And we all have affiliate status on Twitch. So we've got some insider info and we know what we're aiming for to get there. But what we've seen in the last week feels a bit like, now correct me if you think my terminology here is wrong, guys, but it feels like a self-destruction of Twitch, and YouTube is just rising like the phoenix from Twitch's ashes with monetization and creator support.
Yes and no for me. YouTube still has a way to go with its algorithm discoverability and audience engagement. But in terms of pure monetization, yes, I believe that to be quite accurate for me.
I think until YouTube brings in the stuff that they're bringing in 2023, if you are a streamer and you are starting today, I would still start on Twitch, personally. You're starting today and you want to start doing streaming, I would stay on Twitch. If you are a streamer now, if you stream right now, like and I've been like myself, I've been streaming for a year or 2 now, and you're thinking about going to YouTube, I would think about it, but I still wouldn't do it just right away. What I would do personally is what I've started to do is start building yourself a little bit on YouTube. Maybe take some of your edited VODs and put them on YouTube, and maybe put some shorts on YouTube. Start building something, because if you go from Twitch to YouTube now, you're going to find it very difficult, because like Wibble said, the algorithm and the if you are just a streamer and you do no other content, you will struggle on Twitch, because the streaming platform on YouTube. Did I say Twitch?
You've said everything a few times.
Just fuck me. Damn it. If you are just solely a streamer and you are streaming on YouTube and not doing any shorts and not doing any videos or anything, you will struggle, because the streaming UI and the streaming platform on YouTube is garbage, in my opinion. Solely streaming on YouTube is an awful experience compared to Twitch. However bad Twitch has been recently, and however much they're doing their absolute best to murder their own platform.
I think we should probably back it up a bit and go to that point there. Twitch murdering their own platform. So this is all spawned from an announcement last week on September the 21st from the Twitch president, Dan Clancy, about subscription revenue shares. And if you're just an affiliate, this whole revenue share update means absolutely nothing. As an affiliate right now, you make a 50-50 split. So for every subscription that you get on your channel, you take 50% of the revenue. Twitch takes 50% of the revenue. For every bit that's given to you, you take 50%, Twitch takes 50%, and so on and so forth. It's the partners that have been hit the hardest here. Anybody who is in the partner program earns a 70-30 revenue split currently. And what they are looking to do is to change that so that it remains a 70-30 for the first 100,000K. 100,000K, that's a lot of money. $100,000 that they earn. And then above that, it will drop back down to the 50-50 share. Now, for a lot of people, they're going to say, but that seems totally fair. They're earning a lot of money anyway. It's not like they need the extra money. The problem you're going to face is that these big streamers are used to getting a lot more money than that. And if YouTube has got anything about them, when they've just announced new monetization options, new fan funding options like channel subscriptions, bits, super cheers, super chats, all that sort of stuff that they're offering, and it's going to be open for many more people, and it's always going to be a 70-30 split regardless of earnings, you're going to see a lot of people start to shift platform. And what that means for Twitch is that their revenue, rather than raising with the 50-50 split, so them getting 20% more, is most likely going to be dropping because people are going to abandon the platform. And that's the big streamers, the ones, the whales who actually bring in good money for Twitch to operate from. Because us lot, the little streamers, the little affiliates and such, they're not going to miss $40 here and there, are they?
No.
So that's where this all stemmed from. And in the same week, YouTube then announced new monetization routes. So currently, if you want to get monetized on YouTube, you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours. So if you've done a live stream, leave that live so that everybody can see it. If you put a video up, leave that live so everybody can see it, tune in and watch it whenever they fancy. That's the big thing. Make sure all of your videos are public. But of course, we've got this massive change into short form content that sort of TikTok has kicked off the revolution in. YouTube want a piece of the pie. They've got a really good discoverability algorithm for short form content. And they've added monetization to that now as well. So you can actually get monetized in 3 months on YouTube and earn advert revenue if you get 10 million views on your shorts in 3 months. That can be 10 million views on a single short. It doesn't need to be across like 20,000 or something. It can be on one short. As long as you've got 10 million views in 3 months, you get monetized there. But then they also announced that they are lowering the threshold for fan funding, basically making a YouTube affiliate status similar to the Twitch affiliate status. And all of this coming at once put a very negative light on the practices of Twitch. And it's like, are Twitch purposely trying to kill their platform?
Twitch are throwing.
I don't think they're trying to kill the platform. I think they are governed by the Amazon overlords. I don't think this is from Twitch's side at all. I don't think it's Twitch being greedy. I think it's Amazon saying to Twitch, you're bleeding revenue.
Amazon is Twitch, though. Twitch is Amazon. You know what I mean?
They are sort of hand in hand. But then the day that this all happened, the final CEO, who was one of the original formers of Twitch, left.
Yes.
Like Constance Knight, she left on the day that these new monetization revenue shares were announced because Twitch was no longer Twitch in her eyes. Like everything they'd done together, everything they'd built was dead at that moment.
Yeah, I mean that to me speaks that it's the Amazon side. Now, obviously, they are one corporate, but like everyone knows, there will be a section of it's still Twitch, but it feels to me that Amazon are now putting their wing fully over them and saying, "You are mine, pretty. Come to me." That's what it feels like. Now,
that's creepy. I ain't sleeping tonight now.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping either.
But correct me if I'm wrong, and I think I am. But wasn't the 70? It's the 70-30 isn't for all partners. No. It was only for those top ones. Yeah. Or now I heard it on another podcast that they said it was for people that helped build the platform. So people like Angry Joe Show, people like Asmongold, people like XQC when they were there, when Ludwig was there as well, he was 70-30. And what they're doing is they are now removing their terms. So all other partners were 50-50 anyway. It was just the upper echelons. So if Dr. Disrespect was still there, which he can't because he's banned, he would have been on 70-30 as well. But then now with this change, it's 50-50. So for me, it's just they're trying to... I don't know, because it's not... To me, I don't think it's killing the platform if they're just getting rid of those people that are earning a lot of money. They're just bringing it down. However, those people that earn that 70-30 earn it for a reason. Like Asman very, very regularly pulls in 20, 30, 40K in his streams. I think he averages about 20K every stream. You lose that 20k if he doesn't go onto there anymore because he isn't happy with the 50-50 split. If he moves, you've lost 20-30k of people that will potentially look to somebody else on the platform. They will say, well, you know what, Asmon's just finished. He's recommending this. Let's go there. They won't. They'll just be like, well, I'm not going on Twitch anymore because Asmon's not there.
They'll follow Asmon. That's the thing. If you've got a community like that, if you're one of these big streamers, because look what happened when Ludwig moved. When Ludwig went exclusive to YouTube, all his followers went. They didn't return to Twitch. And Tim the Tapman, yeah. All of their people followed them to YouTube. That's, like you say, 20,000 subs just disappearing. That's a lot of money, regardless of whether it's a 70-30 or 50-50 split.
100%. 100%. I think what they're trying to do is when people find, if we cast his mind back to, I think it was about 6 to 12 months ago, when people found out that certain partners were having a 70-30 split, there was howl up. There was howl up then saying, why are they only 70-30? Why aren't I only 70-30? And now Twitch have gone, albeit too late, well, you know what? That 70-30 is now gone. It's 50-50 all across the board. People
it is still there. That 70-30 is still there. It's just for the first 100k that they earn. So they're still earning $100,000 at 70-30, which means they get there much quicker than those on the 50-50 split. So even though they're saying it's fairer, the Twitch side of things, it's not. But those big whales are still those big whales.
But aren't the big whales, isn't the 70-30 split for all partners up to 100k and not just the big ones? Because it's going to be, they're going to have, once their contracts are up, they'll be renegotiated down. So they'll be on 50-50 just like the other partners, and the 70-30's in. I'm pretty sure it is.
It's distinctly possible. But it's not just this though, is it?
No.
The paying for the boosts on the homepage. Like Lee said this a couple of times because people have tried to do it for him. Like, it does nothing. There's no discoverability on Twitch. There's no algorithm to help you being seen. So people throwing money that doesn't go to the streamer, by the way, all of that money for that boost goes to Twitch. And then they're bringing in this paid messages thing, similar to what YouTube already does. But again, that's at a lower split than what YouTube does. It's everything they're doing, every new, and I use this word begrudgingly, every new innovation that Twitch has put out there in the last 12 months has been money-based, has been about people watching, lumping some money forward. Whereas YouTube has done a lot to make the streamer's life easier. It's not always been brilliant. Like, don't get me wrong, when they first integrated like what they call stream redirects or raids, as you know them from Twitch, you had to know the person. They had to be subbed to you and you had to put an allow on them. But they've now given that way, you've got a tick box to allow all redirects. So they're improving over time. And when they put something in, it works a lot better than what you see on the Twitch side of things.
Well, that's because of hindsight.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't necessarily agree with that. The stuff that they're adding to YouTube as groundbreaking features and new things to help the streamers and stuff over the past couple of years are stuff that you get on Twitch as standard. This is what I mean. Like Wibble just said, it's hindsight. Of course, you can look at the way Twitch does things and then you can improve on it because you've not got it. You know what I mean? It's they've had all these years to get these things in and they've added all these groundbreaking features. You can't do it, but I'm doing bunny ears. And the YouTube streaming space is still half as good as Twitch. And whilst I do agree, Twitch are not doing the best. Some of the things they've added the most recently are monetized space, like the boost trains and the September, and then suddenly having the last 5 days of September, you can have discounted subs and stuff like that. Doesn't come across too good, but they've added stuff recently like a new shout out feature, which works pretty well. I've seen that in a couple of Twitch streams today.
I like
it a lot easier. Yeah, I like that too. It's very
like
good.
that, but again, it's like, where was that 5 years ago? Like, we've had this through like OBS and Streambots for years on Twitch.
It's there then, isn't it? Everyone else, it was there because it was added by a bot. If you don't need to add it, then, you know what I mean? It's not like
if it's there by default,
there at all. It was there via, everyone else has their own shout outs. But then they've been dealing with, they're dealing with hate rates could have been better, but they didn't exactly just sit on their hands and do stuff. They've added like account verification and stuff like that. And then recently they've added more protection against raids and stuff. So you can have a minimum and a maximum number for the amount of people that raid. You can allow raids from certain channels and all that sort of gubbins.
The age of the account as well.
The age of the account, which is a very important one.
Yeah, I think the
that's a massive one.
I think the min-max viewer threshold is a little bit. That's very controversial. However, the account age threshold for me is very good. I think the two things that they've added, the new raid support, I think there's a couple of bits that are a bit controversial, but I think overall it's better. And I think the shout out function is a lot better. I mean, we're saying that, and you said it yourself, Lee, why wasn't it there ages ago? This is what we will be saying in a year's time about YouTube streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Why wasn't it there last
we're
year?
already saying it. Like, I've got streams on my channel from back in 2017 when I started doing the YouTube streaming more seriously, because I've sort of left Twitch about 8-9 months ago. I haven't put any new content out there in that time. And it was a conscious decision because I was getting more traction. I was getting more viewership. I was getting better community on the YouTube side of things. And I could do everything in the one place. But I knew that there were going to be issues with that. The first one was monetization. I lost all payouts. I was getting like 40 quid a month or something from the Twitch side of things from subs and such. And it doesn't sound like much, but that's a big help when prices are increasing. That £40 is half a shop at the moment, sort of thing. So I did miss that money. But what I didn't miss was the chore that Twitch felt. If I don't feel like streaming on YouTube, I've still got all of my other content there, visible, viewable, searchable, findable at all times. And then I can just go live when I feel like it. I can create edited content around it. And that was my personal choice. But it was also made for me with a couple of the announcements by Twitch that everything they were doing wasn't helping the streamer anymore. It wasn't putting power or autonomy in the streamer's hands. It was putting money in Amazon's hands. And it's taken them another 9 months to get to a point where they're putting 2 bits of autonomy in our hands with that shout out command built into Twitch finally, and that raiding situation, which it's great, it's needed, but as you said, it's a year too late. And that was my thing with the platform. It was always too little, too late. Everything felt too little, too late. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot that YouTube has done wrong, especially with allowing certain people on the platform when they are like overtly homophobic and what have you, and banning people, calling them out and such. So there are problems with both platforms, but for me, it was YouTube offered more longevity and Twitch felt like it was on a downward spiral. And if it weren't for these 2 positive things in the last couple of days, I would feel like the only news out of Twitch this year would have been completely negative.
Yeah. To be fair, the drama and news out of Twitch in the last couple of weeks alone is a complete shit show, with the people scamming people out of money, gambling.
Why are they allowing crypto gambling on the site? Why were they allowing gambling full stop on the site?
Because people like to watch it, and it bought Twitch revenue and views. That's what it is at the end of the day. That's what they do it for.
Well, it's like banning that streamer who was having sex on stream. She was banned for 7 days.
That's a different
Surely
story.
that's a permaban. That is against terms of service.
Well, there's accusations, isn't it, of Twitch being either racist, sexist, or playing favorites. Because there was a streamer called Gideon. I watched a video about, actually. Gideon did this video where Gideon got a lifetime ban because he did what was effectively a hate raid. Again, I'm doing bunny ears, because all he did is he went and told his viewers to go type in Pokemon's chat, something like ratio plus L, something along that lines. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's not like he got his backdoors railed whilst he was streaming. Yeah, it deserves a ban, not a lifetime ban.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you've got the girl that got railed on stream, 7-day ban. You had a girl that threatened to shoot up Twitch headquarters. She got a lifetime ban, and then she apologized and said she was sorry and she'd never do it again. And she got like a 30-day ban.
Yep.
And it's either Twitch doesn't like Gideon because he's black, Twitch doesn't like Gideon because he is a male, or Twitch just don't like Gideon, or because they have favorites. And it's a very weird situation, because people accuse it all the time. And like, I'm not one of those people that are like, women have it easier on Twitch because they really fucking don't.
No, they really don't.
But stuff like that can't make you help but think that maybe Twitch do go a little bit easier on people if they are female or white. I guess I don't know.
I don't know. Like I said, for me, every bit of news out of Twitch, whether it was drama based, whether it was bans and stuff, because BB Jess got banned for literally no reason. She still doesn't know why she was banned. Like two friends of ours like manage her merch side of things, like do her artwork and such. But she got a ban for 48 hours and she's got no idea why that happened. To this day, no idea why that happened. So she's terrified about doing it again, but she doesn't know what she did. So how can you avoid doing it again?
Fair.
So
and it's like, if that's someone's complete revenue stream and you don't know what you've done wrong that has jeopardized that, it's things like that. There's so... What communication there is often seems negative. It doesn't seem to help the streamer on the platform. And then when you need news, when you need information, there's just radio silence from Twitch.
Yeah.
So with regards to strange bans, because I play a lot of MMOs, I'm more towards MMO streamers. So there's one Final Fantasy 14 streamer called Zeppler. She is currently a refugee from Ukraine. She fled Ukraine with her, I think, 2 dogs. I forget where she's actually staying now, but she's back up streaming. She got banned recently, and she got banned because somebody else impersonated her on a Twitch. On Twitch, she got banned, and then when they finally unbanned her because they realized that it wasn't her, she lost something like 40,000 of her subs or something strange. She lost like a portion of her subs, and it's like, what? Are you kidding me? What?
Now, don't get me wrong. I know if you get a ban or if you get demonetized or something on YouTube, the Axeman is probably a big one from this year. Like, he got his entire channel demonetized for calling out YouTube for defending a serial abuser of like copyright claiming and homophobic and racial slurs. Like, he's a vile cretinous excuse. I'm not going to go into it deeply because we don't want to sort of be taken out by him. But
1v1 me, YouTube. Fight me.
But yeah, the Axeman lost all monetization. He appealed it, and he did find out why he lost all monetization to a degree. But he's got the same over there. Like, he's got a video that he spent weeks on that he would love to put back up, but the video was actually fully removed. It was banned. It was taken off YouTube, fully deleted, with no explanation as to why. And it's like, it doesn't seem to matter which platform you're on. There's going to be issues. It's kind of comes to the point of which issues are lesser for you.
Yeah, I mean, Zeppler's ban was on September the 15th, so only 13 days ago. And she says, what the Twitch? Why did I get banned while I wasn't even streaming since last week? And it deleted almost all of my followers. I had 240k plus. Now I have 78.5. And then they give her an email, and the reason says impersonation via username or display name.
Wait,
that's the reason that they gave her.
Wow.
Oh, did they think that she was impersonating the other person?
So she says on her tweet, Twitch banned me for impersonating myself.
Saying that, you say that, I've got banned from Facebook for the exact same thing. On my own account, talking to one of my friends, I have been banned.
Banter.
Madness. No, obviously the ban has been rescinded, but that is the kind of madness that you get from Twitch. I mean, why has she been banned for impersonating herself?
Yeah, and there's a lot of thoughts about this. Like, there's most podcasts coming out from geeks, nerds, gamers, that sort of thing in the past week have been touching on this subject, but it all appears to be very similar. It's like they're throwing. Twitch are trying to throw. It feels like they are actively trying to end their existence. Many people have felt they've been on a downward spiral for a while now, but they just seem like they're trying to accelerate the process at the moment.
Yeah.
I think my takeaway from it would be, I think the best thing you could do right now, because Twitch isn't going to die tomorrow, Twitch
No,
might
it's
die.
going to be a slow death.
Twitch is not going to die in the next couple of years, I don't think, unless they have an absolute monumental fuck up, which you never know with the way they're going. Sorry. Unless they have an absolute monumental mess up.
Track record says it's coming.
which they could do. But if you're, I've seen some people that are like, people have moved over to YouTube and they've pulled every excuse out the book, apart from the excuse of I just want to stream on YouTube. If you just want to stream and do on YouTube, fucking do it. Sorry, I got to stop swearing. Actually just go and do it.
One of these episodes, we might be able to put monetization on.
No, we can bleep it. It's fine. We can bleep it. Don't worry.
People were streaming on Twitch where they were allowing gambling and they're allowing all of this and all the and then as soon as it becomes big and it comes in the news and everything, they're like, oh, I've gone over to YouTube because I don't like the gambling or I don't like this, and I just say you just want to go over to YouTube. Don't make it just cut this entire bit.
I mean,
it shouldn't need to be a thing. It shouldn't need to be a thing, as you say. It should just be, I want to be in this ecosystem. I want to be in this ecosystem, like Android versus iOS. Exactly the same. PlayStation versus Xbox. It doesn't matter. You have a preference. Or get both, yeah.
Yeah, you can just install Restream if you're a PC user. Install Restream, and then just stream on both platforms at the same time. Why aren't you?
It's part of your affiliate contract. Why there isn't?
You're not allowed to stream to both simultaneously
at the exact same time. You can restream to TikTok and Instagram at the same time if you want to do that. But you cannot restream your Twitch directly to YouTube at the same time. You can upload your VOD immediately the second after you go offline.
Well, I broke terms and services then millions of times when I was doing restream.
Don't say that out loud. Don't say that out loud, man.
I know lots of people that have done it. I know lots of people.
I'm not streaming on Twitch.
They're not going. Twitch aren't going to come after our man Wibble
here. They're not coming after that $30-$40. That they're going after the guys who are going to get them quite a bit more, aren't they?
You never know. But
the track record.
For me, being a sole streamer on YouTube, going right back to Lee's very first point, I agree. It's hard, and that's what's making me move over to full content creation instead of just streaming. It's hard. Yeah, I mean, I yesterday in our private chat, I popped a little picture in saying this is the highest stream I've had for ages. That was 20 views. It's like I was dead excited for that on YouTube, whereas on Twitch, I normally sit about 50, 60, 70 views. So I am down, and I know the discoverability is absolutely awful at times. They are getting better. They're not there yet. Me personally, I like the better quality on YouTube for the stream from my viewer, and everything in one place. That's it. For me, it doesn't affect me, so I keep out of the whole 70-30, 50-50 malarkey with the upper echelons. I just want to stream on YouTube. As Lisa, just say it. I want to stream on YouTube. There you go.
Yeah. And I think for me, YouTube, whilst the monetization route is harder on the YouTube side of things, I do kind of like that, because I'm not then going to be relying on my viewers, on my community to throw money at me, especially in a world where we have multiple different cost of living crises across the globe. It's nice to be able to rely on just advert revenue coming in. Like, I'm not saying that's the way I'm going to make all of my money. I've still got a full-time job and what have you, but to have that as the way that the money's coming in, just have people tune in, watch, comment, like, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff. That's a big difference for me, because it allows them to support for free by just watching my content and maybe 5 seconds of an advert before they have to skip. That's a big thing.
And on that note, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah! He got it in. He got it. I think that's a big thing you take as well. Like, if you do monetize your content, and if you are just a small streamer, it is easy to monetize your content over on Twitch, because there isn't let's be fair, and I'm very sorry to anyone that hasn't achieved it yet. You will, don't worry. Twitch affiliate is the bare minimum. And that's why Twitch affiliate is there. The reason Twitch affiliate exists is so they don't have bots streaming on Twitch and making money. That's literally why Twitch affiliate is there. Twitch affiliate is literally the bare minimum of what you need to achieve on stream to be able to get monetized. And for a lot of people, the little bits of money, especially now that they've halved the threshold on Twitch, so instead of it having to be $100, you now have to only make $50 a month to get a payout, which again is another good bit of Twitch PR that I don't think gets shouted out enough.
That's actually very good. Yes,
it's actually really good. But like I always maintain that. So for me personally, when it comes to monetizing my content, I don't have ads. I don't turn ads on. And I always advise people to not sub to me and buy themselves a sandwich or something, because at the end of the day, this is a hobby to me and I have a job and that's where I get my money from. But a lot of people that do like the money they get from Twitch and they enjoy the payouts that they get, if they go over to YouTube, they're going to find that very, very difficult, because 1,000 subs is not easy at all.
It's not easy. And I agree with what a lot of people have said on the YouTube side of things, because the moment you're monetized, you're getting 4,000 watch hours a year. You're pulling in $100 to $300 per month just from your content that's already existing. So I do feel it should be a bit more of a journey to get to that point, because you're not asking people to throw money at you. That's just happening in the background. But as you say, I don't think it should be the end goal for anybody just starting out.
No. If your goal was starting out as a content creator is to make money, then you're going to be disappointed for a little bit. You need to do it because you want to do it. You need to do it because you love doing it. You have fun making the content, because if you're just doing it for a buck, just go get a job, fam. It's so much easier.
Stupidly, working hard for a living is much easier than monetizing.
Well, you actually get the money then. You actually get the money then.
Yeah. It's not like holding $12 back because you didn't have enough for a bigger payout.
That's it. Like I remember one time I genuinely made in a month $99.96. Didn't get the payout. No, I thought that was hilarious. That was the funniest thing that's ever happened to me.
That is hilarious.
Like, you know what? I'm glad that happened, because that's funny. But it's just one of those things. But I genuinely, for the whole YouTube, my opinion on the whole YouTube versus Twitch debate, why not both?
Yeah, that is the one that a lot of guides will keep telling you, do both. Have your long form content, have your evergreen content, do your live streaming content, use both sides of it, let them support you as they possibly can. And then if you need to go singular platform at some point, that's a decision that's left up to you because of the tools at your disposal and the experiences you've had.
100%. I think same as you guys. Build your brand. If as Lee said, if you're starting today, right now, you start today, start on Twitch. Build your brand on Twitch to get yourself your affiliate status, get your YouTube up, get your content on there, get your videos on there. I know I'm saying this, giving you advice, and I aren't even doing it yet myself. But
at least you need to do it. That's
exactly.
Yeah, that's probably about. This is how you do what I haven't. This is how you're more successful than me.
Exactly. This is why Lee and Oregon have their fancy URL, and I don't, because I'm lazy. However, build your brand on YouTube, get your short forms in there, get your long, your mid form videos on there as well, and just stream on Twitch. Enjoy streaming, and wherever you do choose to stream, enjoy it, because that's something that was taken away from me over the past few weeks, which is a reason why I wasn't here last week. And Lee and Oregon have been amazing to get me back into a place where I am having fun streaming again, and I am pumped to get all the short form content, all the stuff. As I'm doing this now, as I'm saying this, I'm actually downloading one of my VODs just so I can edit it all down. So thank you to you two, and listen, just take it from me, the lazy one of the three, the laziest of the three, I'll say, because I know Lee will fight me over the lazy.
I challenge you to a lazy off.
I was going to say, don't say fight, because I'm too lazy fight as well. But yeah,
guys, do you see what I have to deal with here? Like, these are my co-hosts.
Oh, bless you.
But yeah, build your brand, folk. Build your brand on YouTube, and then when you are, or you want to move over when YouTube's in a better place.
And so, the end is near. I'm not going to sing. Don't worry. I'll save your eardrums here live, and for those people listening at home. So to close out, tell us, Wibblesniff, where can people find you around the internet to check out your content and keep up with the updates?
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Wibblesniff01, and that's it. That's where I am. I stream daily. I will stream definitely over the weekends. Fridays and Sundays are dedicated to MMORPGs, so if that's your jam, come and join me.
Lee, what about yourself? Where can we find you?
Oh, sorry, I was away with the fairies. I am streaming on Twitch, normally Mondays or Tuesdays, and then Wednesdays and Fridays. And you can also find me outside for a fight. 1v1 me. Come at me. I don't know where I'm going with this.
If he's not too lazy.
If I'm not too lazy.
If he's not too lazy, yeah.
If I'm too lazy, find me in bed for a snuggle.
Hey!
You heard it here first, folks. You can go get snuggles with Lee. You can find myself at Doragon86 around the internet. That'll be mostly YouTube or Twitter. There will be links in the description for all of us as well, if you're watching this on YouTube. So that's where you can find each of us for the podcast. Don't forget, you can find us on YouTube. Search for Massive Nerdmigo's original podcast. We're also on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. All searchable under Massive Nerdmigo's original podcast or M.N.O.P, making sure there's dots between each letter. Feel free to rate the show, comment on those platforms that support it, and ask any questions that you may have. We'll look to answer a few of those in some future episodes. Otherwise, I've been your host for this episode. My name is Doragon.
Oh, I'm Lee. Massively Gaming. Hi.
And I'm Wibblesniff01.
And until next time, have yourselves a fantastic day, guys. And take care.
Bye.
Bye. Wasn't sure if we said bye or what then.
I was Doragon. I'm just like, fuck, what's my name?
Oh my god!
We're so good.